All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Asmawath with another lesson. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, and that's all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of who the world illingly calls Jesus Christ, real name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Today, I want to go into this prophecy concerning famine, right? Because famine is something that is about to take place very prominently within the soils of Babylon, which is, of course, which we know as to be the United States of America. It is known is also it's referenced to be Babylon, reference to be Egypt, Sodom, Gomorrah, Assyria. You see, so and particularly what we're going to go into is how the Most High God promised that He is going to cut off. He's going to cut off the sowers in Babylon. Right. So nonetheless, let's go ahead and get that real quick because we're about to look at some videos, right? That testifies that the Bible is very true and very authentic, man. Right? Because we understand that the Most High God, He has a controversy right now with the inhabitants of this planet because they have no truth. Right? Let me first get Hosea chapter 4. It's Hosea chapter 4, verse 1. He says, "Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel." Right? She says, "For Yahweh has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land." Let's look at that word controversy real quick, just for clarification. All right? Controversy, strife, dispute, case at law. So He has dispute with the inhabitants of this world, particularly the children of Israel. Why? Because He gave them the law, right? But now He has controversy with them because they have been abounding in lawlessness, right? He's long withholding His peace, but we're about to experience once again the fury and the anger of the Most High God, right? And now we're truly about to understand what He means, what peace and what mercy is, right? Because peace and mercy is none other than but a gift. Peace and mercy is something that you ought to be pleading for. You need to be pleading in these last final days for the mercy and the peace that He gives from withholding you from His anger, which is going to hit the rest of the world. You want to be on that side, as David said in Psalms 91. He says, "With my eyes I have seen the reward of the wicked." That's all. That's the only thing. That's the only way you want to experience Yahweh Shah's wrath, is only with your eyes and not experience it with any of other your senses, man. Right? And you want to see it being executed upon the wicked doers of this world. Right? Let's go back to Hosea 4. It's Hosea 4 and 1. He says, "Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land." And this is why: because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. You see that? So the Most High God, He has a controversy with us right now. He has a controversy with the whole world, but especially the children of Israel. This is why He's about to whoop us the hardest, to inflict us and put us into Jacob's trouble, because this is the time of Israel's trouble, man. He has to purge out the filthiness from us, man, before He can take us up to the kingdom. All right. So let's get this real quick in Jeremiah 50 and 16, because it is my pleasure today to speak these words of horror unto you. As a matter of fact, before I get that, let me go to 2nd Ezra 16. The 2nd Ezra 16 and 19. He says, "Behold, famine." Well, we'll jump up to 18. He says, "The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death." See, we're on the brink of famine and great death. Right? We've been seeing, those little Hamites, in famine, but now it's about to hit close to you. It's about to hit your household. It's about to hit the wicked doers of your own family. And if you're not careful, it's going to hit you as well. Right? He says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. Who are these powers he's talking about? He's talking about the kingdoms of this world, the powers such as Esau's kingdom, the power of Moabites, or the kingdom of the Moabites, which is the so-called Chinese man, the Russians, all these people, these powers, they're about to stand in fear. He said the nations in Luke, he said that they're going to be in perplexity, right? He says, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? You see, so even Ezra is saying, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Right? So who are we, right? And I'm pretty sure any of us listen to this thing, we're not near as righteous as Ezra was, right? And if Ezra is saying, what shall I do when these evils shall come? How much more should we be saying that and trembling? The world is about to be acquainted once again with the terrorists of the Most High God. They're about to be acquainted once again with the terrorists of the God of Israel. They're truly about to see why we call him our power, man, because that's what he is. He is power. He's also known by these heathens as Alashajah, which means great demon-like power. All right, he told you in Isaiah 45 verse 7, he says, behold, I create the light and the dark, the good and the evil. All right, so this world is about to taste the evil. They're about to taste the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, while the hopeful elect, we're going to be tasting his mercy and his peace while all these evil things are raining upon this world. Verse 19, he says, behold, famine and plague, right? And that is what we're beholding right now. We're beholding famine and plague. Corona is knocking at your loved ones' doors. I know a few people personally where they have been killed by so-called Corona. I say so-called because I don't truly believe that it's nearly to the numbers as they try to portray it to be. But nonetheless, there is a disease out here, man. And this disease was created by the Most High God. It was created by the Most High God, and he's about to tell you why. He says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. They're sent for scourges of amendment. What does that mean, scourges of amendment? Right? It means basically, and let me get this in my hardback book, my Bible. We're about to dig into it real quick. And then we're going to go back to Jeremiah. Yeah. So he says in Jeremiah 26, and 13. I'm gonna get an NLT. He says, but if you stop your sinning and begin to obey Yahweh your God, he will change his mind about this disaster that he has announced against you. That's what it means. That's what it means for scourges of amendment, meaning to amend your ways, to make your ways completely to change your ways. Like the amendments of America, there were amendments were nothing but changes, right? So when he says that he sends those evils as scourges for amendments, he's meaning that I send those evils so you can correct your ways, right? But we understand that the world, they're not going to correct their ways, right? So let's go back to 2nd Ezra real quick. Yeah, verse 20, he even tells you, he says, but for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, right? He says, nor be always mindful of the scourges. You see, so these are the times that we're living in. As a matter of fact, I might as well just keep reading, man. This whole chapter, 2nd Ezra 16, we are living in this page right today. Right? He says, verse 21, he says, behold, victuals. And what are victuals? Victuals are none, they're just only, they're food, they're resources, they're necessities of life. He says, so behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth. You see, and what do we find cheap upon the earth right now? Especially gas. Gas prices have dropped, man. Right? He says, victuals shall be so good and cheap. Why? He says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Yeah, because these people who don't understand what's truly going on, they're thinking, damn, man, gas is cheap right now. Man, I'm in good case. What does he say? He says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So as soon as you think that everything is copacetic, you see some damn gas prices dropping. You see some food prices dropping, and you think you're good. Hey, that's when the Most High God capitalizes upon your simple ass, man. Verse 22, he says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. He says, many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And today's topic is the topic of famine, right? Because famine is known to be one of the worst ways to die. And this is how most of the world's going to go out. All right. Of course, we got race wars to endure. We got missiles to endure. We got all type. We got wild beasts to endure. That's going to be changing their places, as Second Esdras also says. You got your own family members that's going to be out to get you, because he says in those days your own people going to turn their backs on you. That already started. You see, and that especially started, like the brother said, that especially started with within you when you came into this truth. They started persecuting you spiritually. And that thing is going to manifest itself into the physical, because everything is spiritual, man. Right. And everything that's spiritual is going to eventually manifest itself out into the physical, man. Right. He says, verse 23, he says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. What is dung? It's shit. And that's how most of these bodies, they're going to be cast out. You're going to see people just laid out on the streets of Dallas, streets of Houston, New York, California, wherever, man, as dung, like they don't mean anything, because they don't. All right. He says, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted and the city shall be cast down. All right. So let me go ahead. I just wanted to put those words of prophecies in your ear as the Most High God commanded me. Right. In 2 Esdras 15:1. All right. He says, let me get that real quick. He says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Right. He says, speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So if your ears are not constantly being flooded with the words of prophecy, you are listening to vain jangling, man. You're listening to a bunch of hot air in your ears. The only thing that matters, especially in these days and times, is the words of prophecy being put in your ears, man. He says, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. They are faithful and true. And this is how you know that these words of the prophecies are none other than Yahweh Shah. How can you prove that? Because when you go to Revelation chapter 19, who else or what else did he say was faithful and true? This is Revelation 19 and 11. He says, and I beheld, no, it's a lot. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness doth he judge and make war. So he says that Yahweh Shah, this man that's riding on this horse, he's called faithful and true. Now, what did Ezra tell you? Ezra 15 and 2, he says, and cause them to be written in paper, meaning these prophecies, for they are faithful and true, showing you that Yahweh Shah is none other than these prophecies, man. These prophecies reflect him, because he's the one that's actually going to be coming into this world, raging terror and raging war on the inhabitants of this world. And this whole time, these Christians have been thinking that Yahweh Shah, or who they call Jesus, is just this soft, loving guy. Well, he's far from that, man. All these famines and plagues and earthquakes and disasters and wars, they're being instigated by him. You see? So nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started real quick. Let's look at this short video. This is it's titled "Fearful of Second Wave. U.S. food makers stock up on ingredients." Let's watch it real quick. Now, I don't know if I could play the whole thing, because last time I played a video recording someone else's, they YouTube took my channel off, so I'm just gonna kind of chop it up a little bit. See, so I'm just gonna read it. It says, fearful of second wave, U.S. food makers stock up on ingredients. After a dramatic few months of stockpiling and panic buying, you see that panic buying, right? When do you panic? When you don't have any fear. I mean, when you don't have any faith, right? So that's why, you know, you can listen to these men on these corners, man, and you don't see them panicking. Why? Because we have faith. We understand that the times and everything that's happening right now, it is falling right on time, man. So when we see these things come to pass, we have faith. And every time we do a video or go out there in the street corners or edify people on the phones, We are hastening that day. We're the ones that's instigating all these things. We don't truly understand the power of this word that's being brought out, man. Because no sooner than when you saw this rapid rise of Israelites wake up and prophesy, that's when you see the United States or Babylon just start coming out of power. Why? Because of the Most High God's true children have waken up out of slumber, and we're prophesying against Mount Seir as he commanded us to do. Let me show you something real quick. Ecclesiastes 8. Ecclesiastes 8:4. He says, where the word of a king is, there is power. You see that? And where do we find the words of the king? Who is Yahweh? Right here in this book, man. He says there is power in his words. So you best believe whenever we do prophesy, right, his words out of his book, you best believe there's power behind it. I don't care if a man, if he sounds feeble in the voice or if he has a strong, firm voice. Nonetheless, these are the words of Yahweh Bashem al-Shah. So you best believe there's some power behind that. And there's going to be some effects that you're going to see out in the physical that's going to manifest because of that, man. It says, and who may say unto him, what doest thou? So who can say, what are you doing, Lord? Who can say? You don't know the mind of the Lord, as Isaiah 55 told you. He says his ways and his thoughts are far above yours, man. You're just a mere mortal man. You're dust. He can do whatever he pleases to do. And right now, it pleases him to save his elect and destroy the rest of the wicked inhabitants of this world. This brings him pleasure. This is his world. He can do whatever he wants to do with it. To hell with the damn Christians who say that you have free will of your life. Oh, man, this is his story, man. And you're about to shortly find out that nobody has free will. You've been in that damn church your whole life, praying to damn Caesar Borgia, all right, let him save you now. You see? Because I best believe, you can best believe TD Jakes ain't got no answers for what's going on right now. You go to his church, all they're going to be doing is just singing the whole time. Because he ain't got nothing to say right now. Because everything he's been saying, he's found to be a liar right now. He's been telling you that 2020 is your year when you done lost your job because of COVID. He's been telling you 2020, you're going to get a brand new car when you lost your job because you lost your job. You lost your car because you lost your job. He told you 2020 is going to be the year when you get blessed with that spouse, when this is the year that your spouse left you because you lost your job. He's been found a liar. And these watchmen have been leading our people further and further into the pits of derision, man. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people watching this, they've already come to witness this for themselves. So I'm not even there's no even point for me to reiterate this anymore. Because right now, truly, if you just don't have the eyes to see, it just wasn't meant for you, Thus saith the Lord, But if you can receive these words, which is none other than you receiving the words of Yahweh Shah, blessed be you, man. Right? Because this mystery wasn't given to everybody. This word was not given to everybody, man. So if you can receive this and you're going to run with it and you're going to run with it in faith, hey, man, Lord willing, you continue and I can continue on this path through his spirit. So let's go ahead and go back to that video. It says, now America's packaged food companies are stocking up on raw materials like live oats and sugars. Says this effort is to maintain production in case of supply line disruption if there is a second wave of COVID-19. Yeah, and when was this video done? It was done in June 11th. So there's already been a second wave, right? Now they're working on the third wave. And we understand that each wave is getting more and more intense, right? And this is all politically motivated. So they're making it more and more intense. So you can best believe, man, pretty soon they're about to shut all this shit back down. All right. Biden is already talking about it. Y'all should, if you've been paying attention to what's been going on, y'all should already be made aware. Yeah, man. So that's where we at. That's where we've been at for a few months right now. But As you can see, this third wave rising, this third wave of COVID rising. Now you can start seeing the intensities rise even more, because Yahushua likened this time as to being in birth pains, right? So whenever a woman is in travail and her hour draws closer, excuse me, those birth pains, they intensify more and more and more the closer that child comes, and that's what we're finding out right now. All right, so let's get this real quick. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16. And it says, cut off the sower from Babylon. Right? Cut off the sower from Babylon. What is the sower? That's the farmer. All right. And we're gonna pull this precept again and get a spiritual concept out of it. Because these words, every word in this book is spiritual. But yet they still have physical meanings to it, right? But you can always glean a duality from these words, man. Because he said that my words are spirit and they are life. Right? He says, cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. Right? That's the farmer. And he says, why? For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. So because of fear of this oppressing sword, which is Esau, of this government, right? Because of what Esau is doing, now these farmers, now they're forced to cut off the sow. Now they're forced to cut off from their farming duties, right? And we're about to get a video to prove that. It says, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. Let's get this video real quick. All right, it says, farmer is forced to dump his crop with decreased demand. You see that? And this was actually on April 7th when the first wave of COVID had came. So there's accounts of farmers all across the U.S. right now. They're in the same predicament as this buddy Joe Farmer is. There's thousands of farmers in this predicament right now, which is where you get your food from, right? And this is all stem back to what is going to be instigating and perpetuating that famine. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick.
Because farmers are struggling to survive during the outbreak.
Closed restaurants and businesses mean nearby farmers aren't selling their crops. James Gilbert went to a farm in Hamlin and watched as a farmer destroyed his livelihood.
Bartley and his wife run over 2,000 acres of land in Hamlin.
Yeah, they ran over 2,000 acres of land in Hamlin. All that food, bro, they had to destroy. And they're about to tell you why.
On cabbage and squash. Never did they think in over 40 years they'd be doing this.
But we still have a couple hundred tons, which is over $100,000 worth of product.
Over $100,000 worth of product they had to destroy.
That we probably are going to have to dump.
Cabbage to be sent for things like egg rolls or coleslaw, now rotting as demand vanished in mid-March once restaurants started to close.
So once restaurants started to close, which is who they sell to, they had to destroy everything. That just goes to show you how fucking greedy Esau is. He could have gave all that food to some poor Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, but they'll just rather just run over the shit and burn it up, man.
They won't even give it to his own people.
He won't even give it to, damn. What does SIRACH 14 say? SIRACH 14, let me get there real quick. SIRACH 14 and 7, he says, and if, let me get verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom shall he be good to? You see? So he can't even be good to his own people because he's evil to his own self, man. You know, he could have gave all that food to some homeless people, man. And that just goes to show you that it should further prove why Yahushua is hastening his coming right now. Why he's in the position. He's like literally, you know, like Usain Bolt before he goes running, he's already in that position. That's how Yahushua is, man, because he already told you he's coming like a thief in the night. So you can best believe when Yahweh gives him that word of decree, he gone, man. That seventh trumpet, you know, well, actually the sixth trumpet then. You know, so yeah, man, he is in a position to kill right now.
There's no sense in keeping the cabbage for another 2 months and let it rot more and still try to cool it off and pay the utility bills.
What's normally a small compost pile behind the farm is now turned into a massive pile of food waste, amounting
You
up
see
to
that? A massive pile of food waste. It didn't even have to be food waste, man.
over $100,000.
Where's the money come from to pay them? Well, it comes from the cabbage we sell and the butternut squash we sell to pay for that. Now we're not going to get any money in from that.
Well, all praises. I'm glad you're not going to be getting any money, because when you don't get any money, it's not going to be circulating to the economy. The quicker we can be out this shithole, the quicker Babylon can just go ahead and finally fall, man. Because I'm looking forward to that thing. I'm looking forward to the fall of Babylon. And if you're in the spirit, if you have the spirit of Yahweh resting upon you, you should be in that same spirit, man. If you're still trying to live your best life in fucking 2020, you know, if you're thinking about where you're going to send your kids off when they get older, when you're thinking about sending them to college, man, listen, hey, bro, you about finished, man. You know, and I can say that with boldness, man, because if you truly don't understand these prophecies and where we are in this time, it just, once again, it's not for you. All right. So this video proves to you in Jeremiah 50, when he says, cut off the sower from Babylon. That's the farmer. And what's Babylon is United States. So he is cutting off the sower from Babylon right now. Right? These farmers are no longer going to be sowing anymore. They're not going to be harvesting anymore. They're throwing away their harvest. They're getting rid of their harvest. Right? And also, let me show you this real quick. Actually, we'll stay right here. Let's go ahead and glean the spiritual aspect to it, right? Now, sower in Babylon spiritually, who are they? These are your prophets, man. These are the people that's sowing you this word. Let me get this real quick in Luke chapter, I want to say it's chapter 8, verse 10, maybe. Let's see. Luke 8 and 11. He says, now the parable is this. The seed is the word of God. So the seed is the word of God. What do you do with the seed? You sow it. And who sows the seed? God's servants. So when he says here in Jeremiah 50, verse 16, cut off the sower of Babylon, meaning these prophets that is set up right here in Babylon, we're going to be cut off as well. Further proven to you, Amos chapter 8 and 11, boom, there's your famine of the word right there. Famine of the word right there. When the prophets, when they're no longer going to be sowing this word, sowing this seed. So this is your time to get it while the getting is good. Because Esau did a little trial run last week by cutting off YouTube for about 2 or 3 hours. All right. and for anybody that's in this truth, any man that's in this truth, and he's been in this truth for a while, and he has some type of solid foundation. I mean, you ain't got to know all the breakdowns or deep, dark secrets and mysteries. But if you're not using the little bit that the Most High God has given you to teach your people, listen, man, he's going to cut you off indefinitely. You see, and that little trial run that they did on YouTube last week, that should have put some type of fire up under your butt to make you want to push his word even more. Knowing what's about to happen, this is your time. Listen, this is our time to be flipping our talents. All right. If you want to be a ruler over 5 or 10 cities, man, this is your time to be flipping that money, flipping that spiritual money. Right. And if you saw what happened last week on YouTube and you still choose not to do it this week, man, listen, maybe he just put that spirit of slothfulness on you, because once again, it's not for you. Because I know when I saw that last week, man, I kind of shook a little more, man. I was like, damn, I got to step it up some more. Because this is the time when you get it while the getting is good, man. Because they are about to take YouTube down off permanently pretty soon. And then you're not going to have much of a platform anymore to really teach your people on a global scale, all right? Because around that same time, you're not going to be seeing us out in the street corners anymore, you know? So what are you going to be doing then? You're going to be at home, or you're going to be on the run. You don't have time to be teaching anybody then. Now is your time to fight for yourself. Well, not fight for yourself, but to be in the deep state of consecration to the Most High, in prayer and fasting, man. This is a time for you to, pay attention to you and your household. But this is a time where you can actually teach your people on a social platform, man. Right? So Amos 8 and 11, he says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, power, that I will send a famine in the land. You see, a famine in the land. Now we're talking about the spiritual, that physical famine right now, but this is talking about the spiritual famine that's about to come. He says, I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And how is that? Because he's cutting off the sower from Babylon. The prophet that the prophets, the servants that live here in Babylon, he's going to cut us off then. You see? So that is when this world, particularly the world of Israel, they're going to be hungry and thirsty then for the words of the Most High God. But they're not going to get it. Listen, there's a floodgate of knowledge, and not just knowledge, but wisdom and understanding of this holy book right now. You can go on YouTube. You know, there's plenty of well learned brothers that can edify you, man. But our people who don't want to, tune in and watch some videos day in and day out to be constantly edified, they'll rather listen to some damn world hip hop or some stupid shit like that. You're gonna be the main one thirsty and hungry, physically and spiritually. Hey man, all I can say, you know what I'm saying, if you have that slothful spirit upon you, is to pray. Is to pray, because you don't want to be found wanting in that day. Because the Most High God's servants, we're going to be eating in that day, man. He fed Elijah. He sent the ravens, to give Elijah his daily portion of bread and water. You see? And we understand that God does not change. So if the same God did that for Elijah, he's going to do the same thing for his prophets today. And he says that in Isaiah 65. It's Isaiah 65. Let's see. Yeah, verse 13. I'll start at verse 12. He says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. You see, and how's the Most High God calling right now? Through the mouth of his prophets. He's calling, he's begging you. He's basically pleading for you on your behalf, right? And how's he doing this? By brothers constantly beckoning you. Hey, come listen to this word, man. It might be sending you some links, or telling you, hey man, these brothers gonna be out here on this street corner, next week. Hey, go out there. This is the Most High God calling you. All right. He says, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servants, and who's his servants according to Amos 3 and 7, his prophets. Behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. You see that? So we're living in the days and ages where the world, it's about to be a massive scale of sorrow and great lamenting. But his servants, we're going to be rejoicing. We're going to be happy, and we're going to be fat and healthy, because he's going to preserve us to see the salvation of our Lord. You see that? Let's get this real quick. This is John 6 and 27. John 6:27, he says, labor not for the meat which perisheth. Yeah, because that bread that you have in your pantry, that's perishing right now. That bread that you worked at Amazon for, or Walmart, or wherever you work at, what I'm saying? You labor for that meat, but that meat is surely going to perish you. I don't care how much panic stockpiling you do, it's going to, that food is going to eventually perish you. It's going to eventually perish. He says, labor not for the meat which perish, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life. And what meat is that he's talking about? This is John 4 and 34. He says this. He says, Yahweh shall say unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. So that is the meat that Yahweh has given us, or Yahweh has given us. It is the meat of him. It is the meat to do the will of him. Because we live by every single word. Man doesn't live by bread alone, right? Let me get that in Job 23. I think it was Job 23. Let's see. Yeah, Job 23 and 12. He says, Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. See, that's his will. His commandments is his will. He says, I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. So we are eating his word right now. We esteem this more than our daily bread, our daily physical carnal bread. You see? So this is the time where you should be feasting up right now. Feasting up on these words, on his prophecies. Because we just got how it's about to be a physical famine, man. But you don't want to be in this predicament, in that predicament to where you're spiritually famished. All right, that's a bad day, because it's just going to manifest itself out in the physical. All right, so let's get that. Let's finish that in John real quick. John, let's see, where's it at? John 6:27. He says, labor not for the meat which perish, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life. That's his will, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. Him hath the Father God sealed. Let's look at that word sealed real quick, because this is very important. See, seal. It says to set a seal upon, mark with a seal. Let's see, from security from Satan. And we understand that Satan is just angelic force, evil force that comes from the throne of Yahweh Shah. I mean, from the throne of Yahweh, right? So he's gonna put if you're doing his will, if you're eating the meat of his will, he's gonna set that seal or that mark upon you, and it's actually going to get a little more descriptive. Let's see. Because this is the same seal that Ezekiel talks about. Ezekiel 9. It's basically a mark of exemption. See, this is Ezekiel 9:4. He says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Now let's look at that word mark. It says a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. Yeah, that's that same seal that John 6:27 talks about. That seal or a mark of exemption from that angel Satan, man. So when you do the works of the Most High God, he's going to put that mark of exemption upon you, man. While the rest of the world, they're going to be taking the mark of the beast. So you're going to be marked either way. You're either going to have the mark or the exemption of the Most High God. So that mark will distinguish to his angels, don't destroy this man, don't destroy this woman. Or you're going to have the mark of the beast, which you're just inevitable. It's just inevitable that you're going to be put to death after that. See? So let's go to Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 3, starting from the top. It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Now let's get that in NLT. It says, the Lord of heaven's armies will take away from Jerusalem and Judah everything they depend on. You see that? He's taking it, and this is particularly to the 2/3 of our people, because he's trying to show you. He's not trying to show you. He will show you that you need a redeemer. See, you've been you've been depending upon Trump giving you that stimulus package. You know, that's something you've been dependent upon. But the Most High God is he's stripping everything that you depend upon away. He says, every bit of water and every bit of bread and every drop of water, all their heroes and soldiers, judges and prophets and fortune tellers and elders. You see that? TD Jakes, you're fitted right along in there. He's taking you away too, to show our people that we need him. All right? So yeah, man. Let me get this last verse real quick. Let me get this last verse. It's Proverbs 20:4. It says, the sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold, therefore shall he beg in the harvest. and have nothing. So yeah, man. So this is the time for you to be plowing, right? Because plowing in the cold, that's plowing or doing this work in unfavorable conditions, right? And it's not always the best conditions whenever we sow this word, right? But if you don't want to sow this word in unfavorable conditions, you're going to be begging in the time of harvest, right? So I'm just simply, once again, just giving you a quick video, trying to shed light on prophecy that's happening right now, you know. So for our people that's in this truth, and you have an able body, you have an able tongue, and you have the resources, to actually sow this word and feed our people, do it. Or else he says, once again, let me read it. He says, "The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold, therefore he shall beg and harvest and have nothing." So that's what's going to happen, man. We already got the videos that's showing you that these famines, they're imminent, man. They're basically inevitable at this point. They're going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So this is your time, man. You know what I'm saying? If you want a table prepared before your enemies, you're gonna have to do this work, man. Let me get that real quick. This is Psalms 23:5. He says, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Yeah, and that table is going into this food, this spiritual food that he's given us, which is ultimately going to lead to our salvation. And he's doing all this in the presence of our enemies, man. Esau can see. Don't think, man, that Esau doesn't know what's going on. He knows what's going on. But just how we had a table prepared for us, in the wilderness before our enemies, the same thing is happening today. He says, "Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over." You see, because the servants, they're gonna have everything that they need plus more. You know, but yeah, man. But I feel like I was something else I had on my mind. But yeah, that's basically it, man. I hope you was edified with this. Be attentive to the signs and the times that you're living in. Stay on watch like Yahweh Shah commanded us to do. So until next time, man, I want to say shalom.